Out in the middle of a quiet stretch of nowhere, something horrifying was discovered: a body. The first voice you hear on the emergency line is shaky, uncertain. "We think we found a body. It's lying on what looks like a burned mattress. I can see bones. Maybe intestines. It's not right." The caller sounds like they can barely put the image into words, and honestly, who could? This is the tragic and unsettling case of Marilyn Gandert, a woman who placed her trust in people she knew well, only to have that trust shattered in the most devastating way possible. Before we dive in, if you want more real-life mysteries and true stories, go ahead and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any updates. And if you care about bringing real cases into the light, hit that like button. It truly helps these stories reach more people. Alright, let's step into the story. The missing sister. It was early in the morning, 6:56 a.m. to be exact, when Harry Gandert picked up the phone and dialed 911. Harry lived in Albuquerque, about 20 miles from his sister Marilyn's home. He was in his 60s, and he knew his sister's habits better than anyone. She always answered his calls, morning and night. But lately, her phone was off. Calls went straight to voicemail. Her car was still parked in the driveway, untouched. The note Harry had left on her door the day before was still there, exactly where he'd left it. Something was wrong. When officers arrived, they began with the obvious questions. Harry told them Marilyn wasn't exactly a social butterfly. She lived a quiet life, kept to herself, and had only a handful of close friends. After her husband passed away and her son took his own life, she became even more withdrawn. But she was dependable, predictable. The thought that she might have simply gone off somewhere didn't sit right with him. As the police stood there, a woman approached, Nancy Robinson, Marilyn's closest friend. She worked with Marilyn for years at the post office and knew her routines inside out. Marilyn never missed work, never left her dog alone, and never disappeared without saying a word. The first clues officers circled the home, looking for a way inside. No broken windows, no forced entry. But when they reached the backyard, the sliding glass door was wide open. That was strange. The officer stopped Nancy from going in. There could still be someone in there, and they could be armed. Once backup arrived, they entered cautiously. The house looked normal at first. Pill bottles on the counter, hospital papers scattered on the table, but no signs of a fight. Nothing overturned. Then something odd. Marilyn's house and truck keys were still dangling from the front door knob. Outside, Nancy mentioned something else. Marilyn also owned a nearby rental property. Her former tenants, including her daughter-in-law Alyssa, had just moved out. The rental house police headed to the rental, where Alyssa Bickett was busy loading boxes into a truck. With her was her teenage son, Drake, Marilyn's grandson, and a friend named Annie. Alyssa explained that she'd last seen Marilyn on the morning of January 26th. They'd spent time together, and Marilyn had told her she'd come by the next day to hand over the keys. The problem? Police already suspected Marilyn was missing by then. A walk-through of the rental turned up nothing, but something about Alyssa's story didn't sit right. She spoke casually, almost dismissively, as though Marilyn's absence wasn't alarming. The fire in the desert. Meanwhile, the scene out in Rio Rancho was coming into sharper focus. On the night of January 26th, a woman driving home saw a strange, smoldering pile on a dirt road. In the morning, curiosity and concern drove her and her husband back to the spot. What they found was the stuff of nightmares. It wasn't trash. It wasn't an animal. It was a human body, partially burned, with metal chains twisted tightly around the wrists and ankles. The right foot had been severed. The mouth was frozen open, as though mid-scream. The killer wanted this body to be found. When the news broke, tips flooded in. One call was from Nancy. She feared the body might be her friend Marilyn. Dental records confirmed it. Harry's grief the next day. Police visited Harry in person. The moment they told him, he broke down completely. She was more than my sister. She was my best friend. I'll miss her every day of my life. Marilyn wasn't the type to get caught up in dangerous situations. But she had been going through something stressful recently. She'd decided to evict Alyssa from the rental after months of unpaid rent. That decision might have been the spark for something far darker. Turning the spotlight on family. Alyssa hadn't been upfront about being evicted. She told police she was just moving out. Why hide the truth unless you wanted suspicion to shift elsewhere? Then there was Drake. Only 19, he seemed strangely detached when told about his grandmother's death. His reaction was off. No shock, no visible grief, just a flat. That makes me feel sad. Police now had motive, opportunity, and proximity, all circling back to Marilyn's own family. The break in the case, the search of the rental continued. This time with a warrant. Inside, investigators found one small drop of blood near the entryway. It wasn't much, but it was enough to change everything. Soon after, officers took Alyssa, Annie, and Drake into custody. In Annie's truck, they found Marilyn's medication bottles and blood. Then came the moment that shifted the entire investigation. During questioning, Drake made a statement that stunned detectives. And that's where the story takes its sharpest turn. If you want to hear the chilling twist and how investigators finally uncovered the truth, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the next part. And while you're here, give this video a like. It really helps us keep telling these important stories.